Good morning, everybody. Thank you for being here. It's excellent to see you all. I appreciate you taking the time to have some learning today. What an exciting time to be here in Barcelona in our industry. There is so much new learning taking place, whether it be 5G, AI, virtualization, cloud, robotics, automated cars. Sometimes that path can be really daunting. How do you know how to make the right decisions for your future? How do you know that the decisions you're making today allows you to bring in the old and go into the future without strain on your organization? What you're going to learn today from our speakers are some of the key learnings and findings that we've jointly discovered about what it takes to really create the right partnership between a vendor and an operator. And I use that word very carefully, partnership, because in truth, it really is a partnership. In fact, it's a marriage. And in any marriage, you have to know that what are the items it takes to succeed in order to protect your future and continue for as long as you can go. So, without further ado, I'd like to introduce to you our first speaker, the CEO of NetNumber, Mr. Kevin Peters.
All right. Good morning, all, and thank you so much for coming to join us in this discussion. So we have a weird title to this presentation, right? It says, When Blue Meets Magenta. And folks were probably saying, does that have any meaning other than the shoes? And frankly, it has a lot of meaning. You would not think about these colors, I don't know what this is, royal blue or something, and of course the wonderful magenta. Go ahead, Ulf, show them that. There you go. But I want you to have a connotation when you see those colors. First off, the magenta, powerful, top-tier operator and carrier, industrialized, high performance, swift of foot, market leader, all of those things which of course Ulf himself represents, as does Deutsche Telekom. And then you look at these shoes, not this body, these shoes, and you say swift of foot, right? You say nimble. You say agile, software, all of those things that you don't necessarily connotate when you think about a vendor in the former equipment space and now the software space serving such important customers as Deutsche Telekom. And so when you say, can blue meet magenta historically? Probably not. In the past, and I'll tell you why I do this when you see my background, in the past you would have these industrialized vendors working with these large tier 1 carriers, and there'd be equipment and massive amounts of it in years and years of development finally to actually deliver something into the network. But the world has changed. And so what used to be a clash of magenta and blue is now something that can intertwine because of the software nature of our businesses, the platform nature of our businesses, the notion that we are together innovating in real time on behalf of Ulf's customers has changed the entire picture. So for the first time, perhaps since the late 60s, magenta and blue are now together, right? And magenta and blue are creating a new modern art. And that modern art in this industry is here to stay and allows companies like NetNumber to thrive and flourish, but only when partnered with the correct operator. Because what happens in this type of partnership is we learn. They make us better each and every day. I'm going to talk to you about the journey of becoming better and improving and helping, introducing software platforms into their network and actually thriving together, because I think that portends what's going to come in the future. And so you say, why should I have any viewpoint on that, right? You're the CEO of a small, nimble company. Why should you have any viewpoint on what's going to happen in the big industry that we describe? Well, I happen to have spent 28 years of my life working for AT&T. And in that life, I ran all of AT&T's network, global, mobile, wireline, you name it, I ran it. I also happen to have been the chief engineer for AT&T. I also happen to have run the chief marketing officer for business. I also happen to run their call centers. You name it, I had run it at some previous time. And that's a pretty industrialized company. And at the time, I used to say, if only I could find inventive, swift of foot, clever software players to use in my environment, I think I could be different than I am today. And that time passed me by, right? I retired a few years back, and I was enjoying blissful retirement. And then I got approached to work with NetNumber and to look at them as an advisor and be on their board. And that started a journey that I'm going to now share with you, where ultimately you'll see Magenta and Blue meet. So that's the background on what I'm going to talk about. Now I am joined by Ulf Cloister on stage. He's a wonderful partner, and by a wonderful partner I mean demanding. I mean exacting. I mean high expectations. And that's what we need, because it makes us better. And in response to that, I think you'll hear, as we have Ulf discuss our journey, that we have responded in kind. And that's the wonder of all this. But the best way for you to hear that part of the story is for Ulf to tell it. I'm just going to tell you a little bit about NetNumber, then I'll cede the floor to Ulf, and he can tell you the story of our journey together. So with that, NetNumber. Why would I come out of this blissful retirement to join a company headquartered out of Lowell, Massachusetts? It's a little, the northeastern U.S. centric. It's kind of an artisanal or small company. It was based on software backgrounds being applied to a very arcane or sophisticated part of the network, the control and the signaling part. So we have deep expertise in that business on that, and we have deep expertise in software. Good timing. Now I must say, I don't know what they were doing for the first 15 years or so, but when software became the buzzword and became important into the networks, we were well positioned for that journey. So when I looked down at this and they asked me on the board, would you be willing to run this place? I said, I kind of like the fact that we're in that space. I also kind of like the modest growth that the previous leaders had begun. I like that. I really like the fact that the software platform existed. Right, in the days prior to others having software platforms, and frankly, others are still trying to chase software platforms and not quite there. And then you go over to this wonderful thing about global data services. So we extract data from the industry and from ourselves, we put it through our platform, and then we rationalize it and present it to customers for their use. Two powerful aspects of a business. Not totally utilized at first, but now becoming very powerful. And then finally, we have this wonderful, marvelous portfolio of diverse customers. Customers that are tier 1 down to tier 4, across the suite of different types, MVNOs, large carriers, small startups, etc. And we're engaged with them, and I like that background. So you say, okay, maybe you engage based on this, but what would you like to know? I'd like to know that the trends were justifying jumping in and leaving retirement for this wonderful job that I've now taken. And so when you look at the trends, virtualization and kind of just mimicking what the IT industry has done historically, that's perfect for a software platform company. Secondarily, 5G and IoT. Evolving, a future wave of services coming that are low latency, powered at the edge, requiring data at the edge. Perfect for our platform environment. A software platform, I already got one, I'm in. That works, right? And then finally, data services. Once again, I already have that. And why are data services important to me, from my perspective? Not just because they're available today, but eventually they start to interact with the other things, so you get adaptive and aware networking going on. So a very powerful set of trends that I think we can serve at that point in time. Next, doesn't really matter if it doesn't scratch the itch of the customer. Right? That's what it's all about, scratching the itch of the customer. Well, I was that customer, and it's still the same story. Solve my cost problem, solve my obsolescence problem, make me nimble so that I can provide services to my customers, make me future-proof, backward compatible, all those things that are required when you run major networks. Lo and behold, I think I got a platform that can do that. This is a wonderful set of requirements, and a set of requirements I think we can fulfill. But the most important part of that is to be engaged as a partner to do that. Right? That's the magic, the catalyst, the lightning that strikes that allows all of these things to work. And so, I sat back and I said, that's the ugliness that we've all lived with historically, and that gets rationalized to this over time. And we can do this, and the vision is there, and therefore, I signed on to be CEO of this wonderful company. But there really is kind of the magic sauce. And the magic sauce is to be a partner in the truest sense, that tips the scales. And I use the word tip deliberately, because that is the nature of good partnerships. One, T, trust. Absolute trust. What do I mean by that? Full transparency in our interactions. Full transparency. Just the facts. The currency of exchange are facts and data. We own up to when we do things bad. We push back when we think we've done things well and we should pursue things further. But it's a very honest and trusting relationship, first and foremost. And I believe that fuels the relationship you're going to hear described more here. Second, I, innovation. We are different. We are fast. We are swift. We know our subject matter well. We can customize and we can build scaled applications on top of a platform. That makes us different. We are very innovative. So we deal in a trusting manner. We're very innovative on behalf of the customer, and then you go to P, partner, because our true belief is in a partnership where we are trying to make, in this case, both successful. We understand what he needs. Clearly, there is no lack of clarity when it comes to working with Ulf, right? Clear clarity on what we need to do. We are pained if we're unsuccessful in that, and we are joyous if we actually deliver on that, which I think we have done. But the interaction is such that we want Ulf to be successful, and more broadly, Deutsche Telekom to be successful. I think this is differentiating. I think there are vendors out there who I dealt with all the time that were either big monoliths, couldn't move, bureaucratic, arrogant technologically, software players trying to play in the telecom space with no background. They're out there all over the place. We're different. And I'm here to tell you that. So, what have we done? I joined, and we are now thinking about our business in the following way. First, we look at Titan, and we look at a portfolio of domains that reside and are powered by Titan. First thing is data services. Data services is not a standalone business. It's actually thriving because it utilizes the platform, and it can interact with the platform. Network services. Network services like STPs or anything enum, DNS, all of that reside on the platform. Then you have value-added services, the interaction between different components on the platform. Let's talk about security. Security on the platform as a gateway, and also security in our data being used to improve the security rules. Value-added services. And then lastly, the platform itself, which over time gets exposed and it becomes an innovation center for our customers and for our partners to do these types of services. This is a very powerful mix, but you got to frame it right. So we did that, and as you see, we're feeling quite confident about our future in this environment. We have things being spun out of this environment like our private LTE capabilities, which is just a miniaturized version of our Titan. Right? And so on a backpack, on your back, you can carry around with you an LTE network. That's the type of things you can do when you're taking advantage of the platform. And so please come out and walk through more of these things with us. And the data services, even in that world, we're launching new services daily, monthly. Things like port changes and stuff like that. We have new services being introduced. So it's very powerful to have a platform play in this environment. Now, does it solve the issues for our customers? Well, I just described to you a subset of what we're doing, and I think you can tick off that yes, we're all G. Think about it, we're multi-protocol, all generations of mobile and wireline protocols required to interact to provide services on one platform. That's pretty powerful. That solves the obsolescence issue, that solves the forward-looking and backward-compatible issue, that allows you to have services that cross domains. This is a great world for us. Secondly, we are going to open up this platform. You know why? Because it's so powerful. Our development cycles are this small because much of what has to be developed is contained at the base level in the platform. I think others would like to use that. And I think over time we're going to go do that. So the bottom line on why this is important is it allows our clients to modernize and to have an innovation factory and a platform that is theirs going forward. So I look at the evolving trends and I say, is that going to be enabled by this? Well, let's talk about 5G as an example. In the 5G environment, there'll be a new stack. Just like we've built stacks on our platform for years, there'll be a new stack that provides the services for 5G. Done. Secondarily, you're going to have a platform that allows these edge services and the low latency services to thrive. Done. We are perfectly positioned for that. But oh, by the way, we don't leave anything behind when we do that. So I think that the future is exactly aligned with what we've set in place today. And I'm very bullish on the prospects of that. So much so that I kind of put my money and my life in front of that. Let's go do this. And so I'm loving every moment of it. So where is NetNumber today, you might ask, a year hence? Well, the first thing is we're a global technology and thought leader. We are now widespread throughout the world, both in clients and in personnel. Touch every place in the world. Landed in all major carriers. Look at the lines on the bottom here. This is not a trivial player. Second, we have a broad data platform and we have the opportunity to use that not just in the carrier space, but in adjacent markets. And oh, by the way, on private LTE, I can offer a product to a carrier to sell to their customers. That's a wonderful environment. Next, we are growing like crazy. And I just can't say it any other way. High growth, all aspects of our business, throwing off money and reinvesting that money because of the power of what we have caught here. And so very exciting times for us over this past year. And of course, most importantly, we have a portfolio of very, very high-end, very demanding, wonderful customers that we treat as well as anybody in the industry. And so, I say, what is our strategy for partnering? It is exactly those things that I described earlier. And it is going to be my segue into inviting both up to talk. Right? We are committed to our mutual success. One, innovation together begets innovation. Push us, we push you, we work hard, you work with us, we will get better together. We will be a quality vendor. And I have to say, Ulf and team have pushed us hard on this one, as you can imagine. Because it's one thing to be swift of foot and to be clever and innovative. It's another thing to do that at industrial scale. And that's a requirement when it comes to important players like Deutsche Telekom. We are flexible though. We can help you unearth opportunities, and we enjoy doing that, and frankly, we have a common and shared vision of the future. So as I stand here today, I am very happy I made the decision a year ago to join this wonderful company. The numbers bear that out, the positioning bears that out, but most importantly, our partnering and the trust that we have established with very important people in the industry, and today, most importantly in the case of Ulf, shows that we're on the right path. And I'm going to use that as my segment to hand off to Ulf and to allow Magenta to now comment on Blue. Thank you.